Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Natasha Makes. Let's just check, are we live? Are we live? Can everybody see and hear? We have to do this every morning. It's not all we would normally do, but obviously in these weird and wonderful times that we're living in, without my whole tech team here, I have to, let me just check. Are we here? Are we here? Are we live? Have we managed it? Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Good morning. Right, let's plug that in so that that's going to charge. And let's see who's joining us this morning. Hello. Right, who have we got? Claire's here, Sill's here. Good morning. Fiona's here. Pamela's here. Heather, she's even sent a little wavy hand. Good morning to you. Sue's here. Adele and Kaz and Graham, good morning. And Donna, hello to all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Lovely to have... Oh, thank you. Thank you, Emma. She's just sent me a message saying, you're all good. You're live here, YouTube, on my website, which is www.natashamakes.com. Little, that way. I always go the wrong way. Down there. That's where you can find us live. So all these different places that you can find us. Let me prop that up there. Deborah's joined us. Good morning. Elizabeth's up bright and early. And Carol as well. And Helen, good morning. Helen, I will email you back. It's been a little bit of a mad rush this morning. Right. Gosh, where to start today? Laurie's here as well, and Lynn, good morning to all of you. How lovely to have your company. So yesterday we took a good look at some Kaif. We made a little pouch like this, and when I looked this morning I only had a handful of these left. So if you did want to make use of the fact that you got 4 long quarters of Kaif fabric and that big roll of wadding, don't know where mine's gone, which is only available in the kits, plus your full instructions, plus 2 zips. If you wanted all of that, I only have a handful left. So that is that option there. We've also got the bundles of Kaif today. We're going to have a little play with that. Sorry, just checking that wasn't something saying, no, you've got again. Also got some gorgeous fabric bundles. Now, yesterday, a couple of you said you've already bought the cushion book and lavender ravioli pattern, which is great. Thank you very much. Was there a boys cushion option? Because we'd sold out. We sold out of the glow in the dark spaceships. And I suddenly thought, oh, I've got that gorgeous Liberty. So I've loaded up fabric only. Now, if you haven't got the instructions, you can buy the instructions plus the lavender separately. But if you would like to get the gorgeous Liberty fabric plus the binding is the key that kind of holds. Let me show you. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, these are the cushions that I'm talking about. So these are the book cushions, and these are the little lavender ravioli, and you get the instructions. If you're buying the full kit, you get the instructions and the lavender and all the fabric, everything in the kit for those. And there are a couple of different colorways left on the website. But then yesterday you said, well, we've bought the pattern. Do you do just the fabric? So let me show you the fabric for the boys, because you asked for the boys, and I'll have a little think about what I can do for the girls, but it was boys was what I was requested. So let me show you these. I mean, it's a bit good because, come on, switch, there we go. It's Liberty and it's spaceships. I love this fabric. I absolutely love this fabric. There we go. So I thought you could have that on the background, that as your pocket, and then you could have all of your clouds on the back, or have that on the back, that underneath, and then the rockets shooting up, and then you've got your grey binding there, which just gives a little bit of delineation. I really like that. And so that's there, and we did this last week. If you want to watch back, and you can find all of these videos either on my Facebook page, which is Natasha Makes, which is where you are now, or you can find them on YouTube, which is Natasha Makes, and you can find them all there, or on my Facebook page, my website rather, which is www.natashamakes.com. They are all there. There we go. Has anybody got captions today that they need to get rid of? If you do, I haven't got captions on my Facebook page today, which is nice, but it has been a bit of a funny thing that a few of you have had. If you need to get rid of the captions, then click on Facebook and 3 little dots in the top right hand corner will come up. Click on that and you can get rid of any of the captions. What else do we need to tell you today? If you're after any of the items on the show today, if you go to the website, which is www.natashamakes.com, click on Watch Live, and underneath where you can watch live will be all of the items from today's show. Now, yesterday, some of you were saying, can we get cave by the half meter? I've got loads of cave by the half meter. Do have a look through the website. These were kits that I put together. I do sell various fabrics by the half meter, and we're adding to it weekly. That takes longer to come when it's cut by the half meter. That comes from Holland to me, then I post it out. And we had to change that a bit because the post from Holland was so erratic that now they just bundle it up. They send it all to me and then I send it out. For some reason, there are some parts of the country that they just don't like to send to, and we had all sorts of problems. So now we've eliminated all of that, but it does mean it takes a little bit longer, but it does mean then that you actually get it. So that's sorted that problem. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, we are only a 4-month-old company. I have to remember this sometimes. I do have to pinch myself and go, we've only been going for 4 months. So when these things, we're getting quite good at it. When anything presents itself like that, we go, okay, how can we sort that out? And we try our very best to. Okay, so yeah. Basically, the upshot of that is any fabric that you're buying by the half meter like that, there is every chance it's coming in from abroad. So yeah, just bear with us. It will take a little bit longer. Okay, block of the months. The fabric has finally arrived. We were waiting for one of the colours to finally come in. The post has been all over the place. It is finally in. So we will be cutting that fabric and sending that out in the next few weeks. So if you've bought the block of the month, don't panic. It is on its way to you. We just had to wait for that last fabric to come in, which it finally has. So it is going out a little bit later than expected, but it is going out for you there. Okay, so today I promised that we would look at the Snowball cushion and pouch very quickly. This was the one that started it all off. I was asked to. This was for a Philip Jacobs show, K-Facet for the K-Facet Collective, which is K-Facet, Brandon Mabberley, and Philip Jacobs. Now, Philip Jacobs does all of the floral design. So if you see like the detailed florals, they tend to be Philip's works, and the feathers that we've got as well. And then things like the zigzags, the really fun zany stuff, that will be Brandon's. And then Kaif's, you recognise Kaif's work. So I was asked to do a Philip Jacobs show for Ho Chanda, and I was like, okay, so how do I showcase these beautiful florals? So I thought, well, let's frame them, and let's frame them with a snowball. It's called a snowball block. So that's how this quilt is made up. So I'm going to show you how to do the snowball quilt. It is super, super easy. And then with your leftover corner bits, you get all of the instructions as to how to make the pouch. Because all the time we say, oh, and if you just do this, then just pop them in a box and you'll use them at some point. Well, I never have. So I wanted a project that meant that they didn't just get thrown in a box. They're too pretty to be just thrown in a box. So here they are, made up into something useful. There we go. So we'll show you how to do that. Good morning, Natasha. Sorry I'm late. Is it like being at school? Is it like roll call at school? Oh, goodness. That's all right, Ali. You are forgiven, my darling. Don't you worry. It's nice to have your company. And then also we're going to do some English paper piecing. Now, I said to Emma this morning, my friend Emma who works with me, I said, oh, we're going to do some EPP. She said, what? Oh, you know, we throw it out there thinking that everybody knows what EPP is, and of course a lot of you don't. So it's English paper piecing, and English paper piecing is a beautiful, beautiful, relaxing, slow stitching form. And I'm going to show you, I've got a little starter kit, I've got a little something for you there. I've got a starter kit, I've got refills, I've got all sorts for you today. But I just thought, now is the time, isn't it? Now is the time. I made Emily a complete English paper pieced quilt, and it took me 9 months. It took me the full pregnancy to stitch it, and actually I've still got to bind it, but now I've got my bias binding, which is available by the meter, by the way, on the website. I've got no excuses, so I will finally bind it, and Emily, yeah, a year and a half later, will finally get her quilt. So it's a beautiful, beautiful, relaxing form, and I just used to sit on the sofa because it was the only way that I could sit and feel like I was still doing something, was to sit and stitch. So I've got all sorts of goodies, and I'll show you the things that I found useful, and you know, I'll pass that on to you. Should we start with that? Let's start with that. Do the snowball later. Let's just start with that. So I knew I wanted to put together a starter kit for English paper piecing. And I'd seen someone had done a little pin cushion in a tartlet case, and I thought, well, that's lovely, isn't it? You know, let's have a look at that. That's perfect for a little English paper piecing project. And then on Facebook, lovely Rachel, there we go, and that's a little tartlet case there. Lovely Rachel stood on her pin cushion the wrong way up and has done herself an injury. This is no good. This is no good at all. So that kind of spurred me on to bring this show a little bit earlier than I was going to, but just because Rachel trod on her pin cushion. If you tread on this, you're not going to hurt yourself. It's not going to go through your foot, and I do hope that you're feeling better. So I've said to Rachel, I'll send her a tin. She can make one. So I thought it's a non-daunting project. So I have put together, for anybody that is new, starting out English paper piecing, a little starter kit. And in your little starter kit, you will get the little tartlet tin. That is in there. You will also get, and this bit's for free. I'm putting in the little pin cushion kit for you for free, so that you have a little something to start that isn't too daunting. That's on me. That's my gift to you, because English paper piecing is beautiful and everybody should do it. You will get the little triangle templates for you to make up that pin cushion. That's in there as well. And then I thought, well, actually the diamonds are really nice too, so I've popped you in a diamond as well. You can reuse these paper pieces. My paper pieces are absolutely, they've been used multiple times, so just keep reusing them. But I thought that with the star, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, we'll do the star, and then you've got the stuffing for your pin cushion. That will all be in there as well. And then a few other bits. Now these are available individually on the website, but if you want to get all of this together and get the free project, then do. This made my life so much easier. So the traditional way to English paper piece is that you would sew baste your fabric onto your hexie or your triangle or your diamond. I don't have time for that. And then a company called Sewline developed a fabric glue which was specifically for English paper piecing, and here it is. So you get your fabric with your glue, and that has a refill there with it, and I'll show you mine in a minute. And that was devised specifically for English paper pieces. Well, that is just fabulous, because that now means that you can prep all of your pieces. I think I did at least 250 in one evening, hexagons for Emily's quilt in one evening, and I got through a couple of glue pens, and that was great. but they do refills. So in your kit, I always keep refills. You have got a further 6. Now that might seem excessive, but once you get going, you'll be really grateful. I've easily got through 6. And then I know that some people are like, well, hang on a minute. What about if needles aren't actually all that comfortable for you? I've put in some needle grippets. These are fab, and actually if you hand stitch, these are great to have anyway. They are available individually on the website, but they're part of this kit. And they're little pads, you can reuse them, that you just put between where you hold them, and it just holds your needle, just grips it, and it helps hugely, especially at the moment. I have run out of my seams hand oil, so my hands of course are back to splitting and whatnot. So it makes sewing by hand a little bit painful, but actually this means I can have less grip on the needle, so that makes it a lot easier for me. So I really like this. Oh, morning Helen, she's just come on board as well, and good morning to Hazel as well. Oh, and morning Naomi as well. Everyone's coming in. Hello. So in your kit you get the grippet needles, the needle grippets, you get 6 refills plus your pen, and that has a refill in there as well. Plus, of course, you're also going to get your tartlet tin and your templates and your stuffing, and that is all in. That's all in. That bit's for free, that bit's all in there, and that will arrive to you in your little kit box like that. Now, if you want the glue pen with the refill by itself, I've got them all under here, then that is £7.49 on its own. The refills, the 6 refills, because normally you'd pay like £2.50 or £3 for just 2 refills, but I've got 6 there for what are they? Refills were £8.49. So yeah, I normally pay £2.99 or £3.50, something around that ballpark for just 2. So that makes it good value. Plus, of course, your postage, but if you're getting all of this together, it doesn't matter. So you can get those individually on the website, plus the grippets. Now, if you are doing English paper piecing, then a little pair of snips are always good. And I've got a handful of these left after yesterday's show. So if you want to treat yourself to a little pair of stalk scissors in that gorgeous rainbow finish, then they are just £5.99, and they would work beautifully. And if I'd have had a few more, I would have popped them in the kit as well. Right, so we've got that. And then, oh, yeah, this little bundle. I'm going to show you these. I absolutely swear by these. These are your ultra thin ball and your adhesive replacements. I'll show you my English paper piecing kit in a minute, but I've got the thimble pad in mine, but this is the ultra thimble, and it just means that if you're doing a lot of hand stitching, and I don't know about you, I can never actually get a thimble that is in the exact place where I need it to be. So here you put an adhesive pack onto that thimble, and then you have the thimble wherever you want it in your finger. And these just keep going and keep going and keep going. But I haven't ever got through all of mine yet, but I have put in the replacement adhesive packs as well for those of you that think that you might. But I think this is fab. It protects your upper or your lower hand, controls your needles, and it's just, if you've never tried it before, brilliant. I use the little leather pad one, but I know that some people who are vegetarian or vegan might not want the leather version, so I've put that together as an option for you. And that bundle, ultra thimble bundle, £14.99. But you've got a thimble basically tailor-made to you, which I think is fab. Absolutely fab. Right, so that will come as a little kit there together. If you haven't tried it, give it a go. Give it a go. I really, really rate it. And then I suddenly realised, of course, we've all got the kids home still, haven't we? Isn't that a joy? Freddie was sent a whole load of maths questions yesterday, and he just did them in his head. I was really impressed. It's like, whoa, whoa. Yeah, and I was blown away, absolutely blown away. I tell you what, I underestimate that boy all the time, and I really shouldn't. And it suddenly occurred to me that maybe you're doing some projects with the kids. Maybe this is the English paper piecing is something that you could do. If you've got slightly older children, then that might work an absolute treat, in which case you might need scissors. And then, of course, there's always the great, you sell scissors, you never sell them for the left-handed people debate. All those birds, one stone. Left-handed scissors for kids. I've also got right-handed ones, but that's not as exciting as showing you the left-handed scissors for kids. All of the kids' scissors are, I want to say $5.99. Is that what we decided in the end? $5.99 for kids' scissors, left-handed and right-handed. There you go. From Fiskars, so you know they're great quality. You know they're fabulous. These are left-handed scissors. I haven't really seen very many kids left-handed scissors, so I wanted to throw them out there. I've got them as an option. Yes, Elizabeth, he is a clever boy. I was super, super proud, and his head teacher said that she would send him some harder ones today, so he might not like me very much later. Gemma says, just when I think I've seen every gadget or gizmo, you come up with something new. Well, yeah, that's my job. Yeah. Basically, and Gemma, you should know this. You really should know this. Basically, I like to look for the things that I want, and then I try them out. Market research, right? For you. And the good stuff I bring on the show. The stuff that I don't like, I don't bring to air. You never see it. You won't see it. So I just bring you the stuff that I like. Sometimes it's not as cheap as other stuff. But that's because I bring you the good stuff. Like, I bring you the good stuff that lasts and that I rate. There you go. So that's kids' scissors, if you want to do that. Oh. The other thing is, for those of you that are sitting there going, I've got lots of fabric, don't know what to do with it. Well, I've got a little book and we'll have a look at this later. This is Carolyn Foster. And I love Carolyn Foster's books. And she's done lots with jelly rolls and all sorts. But this is her mini quilt blocks. And I thought that for those of you that have got some K fabric, not quite sure what to do with it, or any kind of fabric that you're not quite sure what to do with, this is a lovely book, and you can stitch 20 mini blocks. So that for me screams sampler quilt or something like that. Or these are little coasters and whatnot. But in there are so many half square triangles. So I thought, well, there's a ruler from that, from Creative Grids. And what if I bundle the two together and take some money off it? It's on the website. I've taken a couple of quid off, well, more than that. It's now £22.50 for the ruler and the book. And then all of those half square triangles, that makes it easy to make them. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Gosh, there's lots to get through this morning, isn't there? Lots and lots and lots. Right, let's start with then some English paper piecing. I'm not there. They will be someone's, so I'm not going to use those this morning. I've got my own. I promised you a little look into the wonderful world. This is, you can see it's bashed and battered. This is my actual English paper piecing kit. Okay, and no, I'll show you the projects I've got in there. What have I got? And maybe we'll make a pouch like this one day. This was out of the washable paper. So in there, look, here we go. These are my thimble pads. And I seriously rate them. And look, I just stick it down there when I'm done with it. And then I know where it is and I can peel it off and use it. I also have this, which you might go, what is that weird thing on there? That is thread magic. Now, you can either get them in little round pots of it that looks like lip balm pots, but I keep a little square like that. That's meant to go on your sewing machine, and it coats your thread, it strengthens your thread, it means that it doesn't knot as easily, gives it longevity, protects it, and gives it a nice smooth glide without any residue. When I hand stitch, I coat every single thread with this. That's why and I've had this for 3 years on there maybe, and it lasts and lasts and lasts. So I have that stuck on one side, I have my little thimble bit stuck on the other, I have a little pair of snips, and I have my glue pen, and I have, a few refills stuffed up down there. What else have I got in there at the moment? Oh, obviously needles. Got some needles in there. I've got some Liberty that I'm just finishing off. And I've got some, these were left over from Emily's, so I'm going to do some little pouches, little hexies there, and all sorts. This is my scrap project, you see, so that's all in there. What else have I got? Oh, and some spares down here. Yeah. It's all going on. It's all going on in there. But look, you see, you can see I reuse these. Look at the state of that. And you can just see where my needle has just caught the edge. But that's all right. That's all good to go back in. So that is my own little English paper piecing kit, and maybe we'll do a project one day to keep all of your English paper piecing stuff in there. But that's mine. Okay, so first things first, how do we glue based as opposed to thread based? Let's have a look, shall we? Find your fabric. Now there are lots of different optical illusions that you can create. All sorts. I wanted to show you the diamonds as opposed to the triangles because now you'll get these in your starter kit if you're going for the starter kit. And I don't have many of the starter kits. That was dependent on the tartlet cases that I could get hold of. But this could be a design that you could make. Have I got any questions? Let me just check if I've got any questions before I get going. Do you remember the wall hanging shown by Kaif on Sewing Quarter where you could plan your kit? Yes, Mary, the design wall. Would you like me to get them in stock? Because I can. If you would like them, then I can get that. I love mine. Where did I get the hole punch? Oh, Jennifer's just received a mouse kit. Right. Oh, Karen is about to start her EPP journey. So the thimbles are very appealing. And Lorraine says, I'm with you, quality every time. Look, my husband says to me, buy cheap, buy twice. And he's so right. He's so right. But just don't tell him he's right. Just don't do that bit. Okay. But he is annoyingly right. So that's my excuse, right, for buying nice stuff. I think there's a bit overkill on the massive dressmaking shears there. So I thought, right, let's get out some Kaif. This is available in a bundle. And the bundles are 3 half meters, 2 of the half meters are Kaif. Have a look underneath where you can watch live because I've still got a few left from yesterday. Not a huge number, but they are still there. And this is a great time for fussy cutting. Let's see if I can get a better angle. Let's get rid of the cushion so that you can see. Oh, there's my teapot. I broke the lid. So it now is ornament rather than anything else. Oh, and my little scissors. We don't need my electric scissors. Okay. Can we see? Let me move this to here. So what I would say is, if you want to plan, the quilt that I made, Emily, I basically used up every single scrap that I had and prepped it like that. What date did I do the cube footstool? Gosh, I don't know. I'll throw that one over to over to Emma and SJ and everyone to find that out. So I would probably look to go alternate. So I might pick like a purple or a blue one, and if I want to make a pattern like that, but I would just have a look and see what I fancy. Now the other thing to note is that if you are on your English paper piecing journey and you're going, hang on a minute, you've put like a few templates in here, I want loads. Underneath where we are live, I also have, and I forgot to mention these, I also have packs where you can get different sizes, so you decide what shape, what size, and they're all under there. They're all from House of Alistair. They're beautiful quality, and you can get all like big packs of templates there, along with, because if you're looking at this going, well, that's great, but actually, you know, what else have you got? I've also got pre-cut hexies in Liberty fabrics. So if you would like to pick your hexies, the size that you want, and then the corresponding Liberty fabrics, all pre-punched, pre-cut into hexagon form, then there are all of those on the website as well. So if you want to just get the templates, then do. And also I've got wooden templates there as well, so you can draw around the inside, gives you the paper template, and the outside gives you the size for your fabric. Okay, so there's all of those options there for you on the website. Now, for me, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rough cut to start off with. So I might want to go there, and I'm just going to add a bit of a seam allowance, and then I will just trim it back later. And I'll just do this with a couple because I can just get started then. Ooh, this would look lovely. My daughter has started going ooh, and I couldn't work out. I was like, why does she sound like a monkey? What's going on? What's she watching that has got sort of monkey noises? And she'll point to something, get really excited, jump up and down and go ooh. And now I realise it's actually me. I do it. I only realised that the other day. I was like, yeah, no, that is actually me, isn't it? That is actually me. So I would start by rough cutting and then spin them around and get your little glue pen. Decide exactly whereabout you want it. Just a little bit of glue on there and onto there it goes. This goes on a funny colour. In this case it goes on bright yellow, you can see that, but that will dry clear. It doesn't damage the fabric and will wash out. So when you've decided where you want it, and this is just for me, this is just if you're fussy cutting. Obviously you don't need to do this bit if you've just bought the beautiful Liberty pre-cuts. Now cut back to about 1/4 of an inch ish, and it is all a bit ish as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I just trim that back. Same with this, just trim it back. And I do this, so my husband and I have very different tastes in films, or he wants to watch the football and I can't stand watching football. So basically this is how we still have marriage, is that I English paper piece, so it looks like I'm interested in what he's doing and actually I'm just doing my own thing, but we're companionable and it's together and we're all good. So all I'm going to do, gosh, look at the state of this glue pen, I should have cleaned it, shouldn't I, before I came to air, is pop a little bit, tiny bit of glue just along there, and I'm going to do a very quick close-up on that there. Look, see, tiny. Use my thumb, fold it over, push against that paper, just gently, just like that, and then repeat. Bink. Now I've got to do some kind of crazy camera work here, and then I do go onto the fabric a little bit because I'm going to fold that. And then again, just down there, not loads, okay? Not loads. Can you see that's only a tiny bit? And then again, fold over like that. Okay, using your thumb to push down so you get a nice crisp edge, okay? Now, crazy camera work, there we go. Back we go. Yes, yes, yes. And just keep going round. Do not put loads on, all right? Really do not put loads on because otherwise it will make it harder to take these out. The paper does not stay in. That's what my husband can get his head round when I was doing these for Emily's. He's like, but why are you making her a quilt with paper in it? I'm like, I'm not. That is all going to come out. So when you've done, you will have dog ears. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry, but you will have something like that. And that's how crisp those edges are, and isn't that beautiful? Let's very quickly do the other one and then I can just show you how to stitch it. For me, this also, because when you're pregnant they send you for a million tests, and when you're on oh older parent, they send you for a few more. Very rude of them, but they do. And I sat in the waiting room with all of the other slightly older parents, and I sat there stitching. We had to be there for hours and hours and hours, but I sat there stitching, and in what was otherwise going to be an environment where nobody dared talk to anybody else. Actually, lots of people were asking me what I was doing, and it broke the silence, and it was just really nice. So it gave me something to do and was a conversation starter. So maybe in the future, when we are actually allowed to talk to people, then this is a lovely thing to do. So there we go. That's down. Again, got those dog ears. When I say dog ears, I mean those bits there. That's okay. That's all right. We can trim those back later. And so they will go together like that, or however I wish, and spin around. And I would do those probably actually like that, and do those alternately, and that would look absolutely stunning. Oh, morning Sue, morning, nice of you to join us. There we go. So when you start to stitch these together, pop them right sides together, and I'm going to stitch along that line there. Now when I do it, I will start just slightly in and stitch back on myself and leave the tail along there so that I stitch over the tail as I go. And then just stitch down there, and then that will open up. Let's have a go, shall we? So first of all, get yourself some thread. I did all of Emily's in a variegated thread. Oh no, you see, I had that all right. What have I done with it? In a variegated thread. I'm trying to source these for you, by the way, and I cannot get hold of the lady that used to supply them. I don't know, and I always used to see her at the shows, so I was waiting for the shows to go and find her and say, please, can I sell these? Because this is just the easiest way to thread your needle ever. And when I do get hold of her, I will bring them to air. So I thread my needle, and then on my pouch straight away, I just bury it into my thread magic. Whee, like that. And then that just means it just means that it doesn't knot as much. Now if I'm threading that through, I'll then get my little thing that I know that is where I feel it. So I put my little thimble bit there, and we are good to go. So if I just start off, and I might wobble about all over the place here, so do bear with me. Let's just check which bit I'm actually sewing, shall we? That's going to help. So I'm going to sew along that line there. So piece them together. Dink, 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 dink. Now, like I say, I'm going to go in. Can you see? And I really don't know like how well this is going to go, and I don't know if I can get it closer. There. Can you see? I am literally catching threads. That's all I'm doing, is catching a thread. As I go through, that is all I'm doing, is just catching a thread. And my tail will lie along there. Okay. So I go this, and this is just how I do it. There are lots and lots of different ways. So I go back on myself and look there. Where am I? There you go. That is why I wear these thimble patches, because I can then just push through there. If you want to knot it, no harm in that. Okay. But I go right to that edge, again, just catching that very last little bit, and then that thread will normally, I've just caught it, that thread will lie along there. So as I come back down here, and again, can you see, just threads, that's all I'm doing. I'm going to start to just lie that along there, and this is going to, this is going to start to lie along there. I don't know if I've got this. Have I got this on the camera right? There we go. It's all very awkward and back to front for you, so sorry about this. But as you bring that through, and if you've got the needle grippers on, you'll be gripping that all over the place. As I bring that through, I want to just catch that end thread. Whoop, come on, Newt. Underneath there. It just means that you don't get any tails sticking out. Hang on, can I just do this where I need to do it? There we go. And then through we go. Let me see if I can whoop this way. Can you see that? So we're just going along here, and we're just going to catch threads. That's all we're doing, pushing through and then pulling them through there, and that's what we'll do along there. So whilst I do that, and it just, so what you'll get used to, and don't have a great long piece of string of thread either, just a little bit works. By catching those threads, what you're doing is meaning that you're going to have nice, neat little stitches, and that's absolutely great. And that will be that. So that will be nice and neat, and you just whiz your way down. I did this actually. I made some pull up last night in the bath, and then I was so tired. I then fell asleep in the bath, and my thread fell in the bath. So I'm really hoping that will dry out. It's all glamour, isn't it? All glamour here. Yep, yeah. Oh, Elizabeth, bless you. Best close-up you've ever seen. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. When I was setting up, I really did want to have good cameras, and these go out in HD. Now, a lot of channels will film in HD, but they don't pay for the extra bandwidth to then go out in HD, so sometimes they will struggle. So if you ever see a channel and it looks a little bit fuzzy, that's just why. So thank you. I'm glad the close-ups are working. Now there are actually EPP competitions, and they will let you show your stitches like that. That's a thing, and that's allowed. So let me show you here. You can see. Hopefully, there we go. You can see my stitches along there, and then if I open, then you can barely see them, you can see them a little bit, just a little bit, and that's okay. It is hand stitched. Now, on a note about that, yes, it is hand stitched. But if you are someone that doesn't have the time to do that, or the inclination, or the passion, or anything like that, you can also, you can do like a really narrow zigzag stitch on, and do it that way, and that's okay. I've seen that done as well, and that's okay too. So if you just want to get the design, maybe you're going to make some pouches with it, then that's absolutely fine. That's just another way of doing it. I remember seeing a lovely lady, this was just before Remembrance Sunday, and she was sitting outside Sainsbury's. This was when we lived over Peterborough Way, when I worked on Crate and Craft, so I was quite new to English paper piecing. I hadn't seen very much of it, and she had English paper pieced an entire entire tablecloth with poppies. It was beautiful, and I said to her, you know, that's absolutely gorgeous. You know, it's beautiful English paper piece. And she said, nobody ever knows what English paper piecing is. How do you know? I was like, oh well, yes. So you just go along there and then finish off at the end, and then you've got your edges that you can trim off, should you wish. But this is hand stitching. This is relaxing. This is what I do at the end of a day when I'm not someone, you might have noticed, that can sit still very much. That's not one of my strengths. Sitting still is not one of them. So for me, this is a way that I can sit and relax, but also feel like I'm being useful. So when I get to the end, all I would do is, no, I don't know if this, here. So I've got to the end there. All I would do is right at the end, needle through, and then just go through and create a little loop, and then that's pretty secure then. And if you want to just go back one, put in an extra stitch, then do, and then I just thread through like that, trying not to prung yourself, but obviously, you know, can't guarantee, and then just snip off. And then just snip off that little bit with your little snippety snips. And it's all neat and tidy, and your ends are buried. And then when you open it up, that is what you see. And you just repeat that all the way round. And that will be beautiful. Now, that's great. I would do 3 together of the diamonds, do the other 3, and then pop them right sides together, and then just stitch in a straight line along there. The other thing is, don't be afraid when you start to add them on. So say you're doing hexes, so this is one of my hexes, you are going to have to fold it. Like there is no way. So if I want to fill in like that gap there, and I want to say fill in there like that, then I will be fine stitching along there. So I would be fine stitching along there, but then when I come to stitch there, I'm gonna have to crease some of the paper, and that's okay. You can see that these have got creases. Just crease them and bend them out of the way. It really doesn't matter. It really isn't a problem at all. I'm just trying to think, see what I've got here. So when you come to take hexes out, it's really, really easy. Only, like, I've taken the middle ones out there, probably because I needed them, but the glue holds for as long as you need to hold the glue. What I do is I put a little light misting of best press or something over there, and then press, and then just go in with a pin or something and just lift off, and it will just, there you go. And then you can just start to peel back, and then look, you can take that out there. But because you've done a starch spray and a press, that will then hold, and you can go all the way around as you need. So that is basically English paper piecing, and then you decide on the designs and how you want to do it. For if you've gone for the starter kit and you've gone for the free pincushion, then what I then did, once I'd done, I did it with the little diamonds, as you can see. There we go. I did it with the little diamonds, with the little triangles rather. And then I did cheat. Look, I did a little zigzag, and I zigzagged onto a big piece of fabric, and then I just did a little bit of stitch it, like a long stitch, and pulled it, stuffed it and pulled it, and then just glued that into the base. That's it. That was it. So that's pretty easy. That was that really. So that is English paper piecing. I love it. I would really recommend it to anyone. It's just a lovely, peaceful thing to do. You can use up your scraps, or you can fussy cut and get amazing designs. It's entirely up to you how you wish to do that, but just enjoy it. You know, I'm doing a Dresden plate. Do you want to see? This was a project left over from Sewing Quarter, and I'm part way through it. Yeah, okay. I'm part way through doing that. Lots of projects that I can dip in and out of. If I know that I've got a train journey or something where I'm on my own and I think I might get bored, then I just take this with me. There we go. Put my scissors in, so I've got those. Or if I've got a long wait in between shows at Hochanda or something, I'll just take that along with me. Right, I promised next. Any questions on that? Doesn't look like it. Right, so next thing is the Snowball cushion. Let's have a look at this. So it's a few little demos. Oh, hang on, I've still got my little thimble pad on there. Let me pop. Yeah, so the thimble pads and the thread magic stuff is all on the website. Let's have a quick look at this. And this is just really, again, just to demonstrate fussy cutting. You will get a 1/2 metre. This is a long quarter, because I toyed with putting this in one of the bundles, and I thought, actually, no, this needs to be so that you can really enjoy these full flowers. So I want to do... Let's move that to there. You start off with 7 and a... there's my needle. Bear with. There we go. A 7.5 inch square. So I get my fabric out and then decide what I want to show through in that 7.5 inches. And if you've got something like a Creative Goods ruler, this is the 8.5 inch one, it's very handy. Then you can really frame it. You've got your diagonal line through there. And if I know that I'm coming down here to 7.5 inches, then I know that I'm going to be looking around the 3 to 4. That's going to be my centre sort of bit when I'm fussy cutting. And this is just about finding something that you absolutely love and going, oh yeah, I want that. So I might want that beautiful floral bit there as my centre bit, or maybe I want decisions. It's so hard to decide, isn't it? But 7.5 inches, that would bring me to, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to go with this. I also have on my Creative Grid, of course, I have my 7.5 inch line. So if I want to frame this and go for 7.5 inches, then I can absolutely do that. Oh yeah, there, right. But for me, it's just about framing. And then that fabric, you see, that would go into my that would go into my English paper piecing stash. If you've got a rotating cutting mat, and I have, but mine's, I want to find a better one. I really do want a better one. Where am I at? Where am I at? There we go. 7.5 inches. So I line up my 7.5 inch line there and there. And if I was on a rotating cutting mat, I would just keep spinning. Dink, dink, dink. 7.5, 7.5. And there we go. And all I want to do today is just show you how to do the initial snowball block. You've got two different options for this kit. You get either the beautiful tulips, or you can go for the brassica, which is your ornamental cabbage. This is your brassica, and again, the fussy cutting opportunities are immense. I mean, just look at that. So stunning. So absolutely stunning. So you can do that and have that showing through. I've gone for the poppies this morning, and and then you get your 1/2 metre of white as well. So when you have decided upon how you wish to do it, and I'm going to actually have to use up one of these now. I'm sure I had scraps I could have used. Oh well. Cut yourself Oh no, someone's just saying, what's that? Oh, Martina. Oh, Martina, I posted your cave out yesterday, by the way. Yeah, she says she's got a Fiskars rotating cutting mat. I'll have to look. Right. I now need to cut, and it says from here, cut 16 3-inch squares. Now, that might be a faff for some people, but actually for me, I will quite look forward to doing that. Because all I'm going to do, of course, is get my stripology out and cut those. So every 3 inches, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and there's more left to cut there. But that's how fast it is with this. There we go. They're all my little, and I've got, there we go. That's cutting, done. Now, what we then do is pop that onto the corner there, like so. And then you are going to do a couple of things here. Firstly, you're going to find your pen. What have I done with it? Haha, here we go. And you're going to draw a diagonal line. This is where your little perfect 5 comes in really handy. A little diagonal line. Now, Jane Alcott will tell you, go from, as soon as you go onto a diagonal, then you are working across bias which has stretch. So from the middle, draw out, from the middle, draw out. Now I'm going from tip to tip there. And I will sew on that line. But then what I'm going to do is, from there, take my little ruler, and this is where this ruler is great, absolutely great, is draw another line 1/2 inch away. And when I sew, and I mark this up on all 16, when I sew, I will sew on that line and I will sew on that line. Let me show you. So if you are quilting, then maybe take your stitch length down a little bit to, let's just check that's all in the corner there. And you can chain piece these. And that's how I did my whole cushion quite quickly, but we're not making the whole cushion today. We're just doing little bits here and there. You might want to take your stitch length down just to like 1.82, something like that. But just sew that line. And then sew your next line. And then, and so I've sewn both those lines, come in at 1/4 of an inch now. So I've got, again, using my Perfect 5, I've got that 1/4 of an inch line that's really obvious on there, and trim back. And you will do this on every single corner, all right? Get your, when you can find it, what have I done with my iron? Oh, here it is. What have I done with it all this morning? I had a little tidy up before I came on air. Dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Won't be doing that again. In fact, before I go any further, let's do all of those corners, shall we, like that? And that will just, then we'll know where we're at. Are you all right, by the way? Are you all managing? Some of you have taken advantage of the free 2 meters of elastic for NHS masks, scrub hats, whatever it is that you're making. Find it on the website, just add it into your order and I'll pop that in for you. That's on me, by the way. I've still got some of that left because I know people were struggling to source elastic, and I thought, well, do you know what? I don't have time to make loads of these things, but if I can help in any way, if my way to help is in finding the stuff that you are struggling to, then that's, like I say, have that on me. So we'll go around and we will stitch each of those in place. We'll do that now. There we go. Now then. Bear with me, caller. There we go. There, right. Like I say, I prepped, when I made the whole cushion, I prepped all of these and just went one after the other. Oh, Barbara's been out for a walk. It's a beautiful day, really beautiful day for it. I have yet to actually go outside, really, apart from letting the dogs out for a wee. My dogs are really unimpressed with lockdown. I mean, they go around our fields. We're really lucky in terms of that. But they're like, oh, this is boring now. So Maud, any chance she gets, tries to go off to visit the neighbours. She obviously does not understand this social distancing malarkey. So, yeah, I had to go and retrieve her from the neighbours. Oh dear, the shame. I thought, how hard? I mean, I've trained dogs for film and TV and stuff like that. I thought, seriously, how hard? Everyone said, oh, hounds, Natasha, you'll never train a hound. I thought, how hard can it be? Apparently quite hard. Maud is, well, she's gorgeous, my otter hound, but she doesn't have a will of her own. So as soon as she gets her nose down and smells something, off she goes. And that's the end of that. Okay. So you'll do that, and you'll do that on all 4 of your snowball blocks. And then trim back. Trim, 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 trim back. In between those 2 lines there, that's a 1/2 inch, and then you trim back a 1/4 of an inch there. Deep, 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 deep. And you'll go around. This is all in the instructions, by the way. Step by step, photographic instructions, all in there. Oh gosh, when I do it in pink thread, you can see just how wonky my stitches are because I'm chatting and I'm sewing at the same time. So yeah, it all looks a bit weird right now. And now I have sourced my iron. What have I done with my... Aha! Here we go. Right. Do. Now yes, I am on my cutting mat, but this is not my whatchamacallit, self-healing. And because I've got my mister spray, it's only a tiny misting that's going on there, and I'll do the same on here, but I wouldn't use steam or spray onto a self-healing cutting mat. This one isn't self-healing, so we're all good. Set your seams, dunk, 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 with all of these, and then flip back. And what you'll be left with are little squares that everywhere else people say, oh, just pop them in a box, you'll use them for another project. Whoever has, but we will trim those back. And then here, what you'll have is a new square, which when sashed with the white, and all of that is in the instructions, just frames your flowers beautifully. So I just wanted like little snapshots, little windows onto florals that you can have in your house to brighten things up. So you'll have 4 of those, each with a different snapshot, a different window, and then you'll just sash in white, and then you've got enough white to do the back of your cushion as well. And so you'll do 4 of those. So that gives you an idea of what that one would look like. That's your tulip version there. So you'd have 4 of those, and then you have the little bits left over. My brother's Otterhound Muddy is the same. He is adorable. Yeah, Muddy is great. We call Maud the Mud Magnet. And that's basically her name, Maud the Mud Magnet. And she's fabulous, but very, very naughty. Very, very naughty. Not many people have Otterhounds. Yeah, it's rare to find. So what am I going to do? Trim back, trim back, trim back, trim back. Several different ways that you can trim back. If you've got your little perfect 5, then you are good to go. I'm going to trim all of these back to 2.5 inches. Like I say, if you've got a little, oh no, they were 2 inch, not 2.5 inch, 2 inch. And if you have, I'm going to have to sort out the whole rotating cutting mat thing, aren't I? Just spin them around, and what I'm doing every time with this is lining up. Now let me show you this close up, because trimming back scares some people. By some people I meant it used to scare me. So you can see I've got the diagonal line on there. There's my 2 inches. So my 2 inches and my 2 inches there. So when I line this up to trim it back, I've just trimmed back those two edges, and I line up my half square triangle, my diagonal along there, and you can see I've got that and that now to trim back, and that will give me a perfect 2-inch square. Okay, and that's what I'm looking for when I'm trimming back, and I'll do that on all of them, and you'll then be left with 16 little 2.5-inch squares, which is just perfect. So I'll trim back the other one. Obviously, you won't be doing it in bright pink thread. You'll be doing it with something that matches and doesn't shout at you. But cutting away is key for safety. Now, you can do it that way. Or, if you have the little mini stripology, and again, this is just all about having options, isn't it? If you've got your mini stripology, then you can cut back your little 2-inch squares really, really easily. And let me show you this on here. So you've got, on your mini stripology, you've got all of these squares to trim back to, and I want to trim back to 2 inches. Can you see I've got that line there that I would line up, and then I trim back on the 0 line there and the 2 line there, and then just spin it around and do it again. Oh, Nanny Mew's watching. Morning, Nanny Mew. How are you, my darling? I hope you're well. Hope Grandad's behaving. My granddad has I think he's been up the town, hasn't he? Nanny Mew doing your shopping for you. Because of course my mum and dad, they're all socially distancing. Here we go. Has anybody else found this? I've found that I am making little things and popping them in the post just to cheer people up. Just to cheer people up, and just see how that works for them. I'm lining up. I've got another line on here going diagonally the opposite way. So I'm just lining that up now to then trim back the other side. So that's your other option. If you've got your little stripology mini, then you can do that. But either way, oh, I've got one more to do. I've got one more. But it's having these handy little tools, because you can do 2 then at once. You can do 2 sides at once then, nice and easily. But you're doing diagonals. But that with all of them, whether you've got the little perfect 5 or whichever way round you're doing it, you've always got that grip, which is really important. And that's all lined up there. Dink, 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 dink. So when you've got your little blocks, and you'll have, like I say, you'll have 16 of these, then you can choose how you want to do it. If you want to put them together in little squares like that. I did with mine, I did that in the middle, and then I did them in like a sawtooth round the edge. Or you might want to do that and that and that. But all of this is in the instructions. And you can either piece those just as you would normally, or the method that I've shown in the instructions is just fusing those onto one side, a very lightweight interfacing, and just fuse those on in place, fold them over, and then sew your 1/4 inch, and that gives you perfect points every time. All of those instructions are in there, so it's all covered, and how to construct the pouch, everything, it's all in there. All of your instructions. Look at that, really clear, big pictures. big pictures, all covered. Even gives you your design options down the bottom, different ideas for your design options for your pouch. And like I say, it gives you that full method, step-by-step instructions as to how to do all of that. Now, the other thing is, I just want to give you an overview because I know a lot of you are sitting with gorgeous stashes, wondering what to do with it. So if I can bring you some inspiration as well and ways to make life a little bit easier, then I will. So that's how you will make the pouch. And the cushion, full instructions. And that with full instructions and 1/2 metre of cave, 1/2 metre of your white, I think £16.99. Yeah, there you go. That's not bad, is it? Okay. Now, maybe yesterday, let's move that kit out of the way. Maybe yesterday you treated yourself to a spot of cave, and I do not blame you if you did at all. In which case you might be thinking, well, what am I going to do with it now? Let's have a look. This book I stumbled across the other day. It is by Carolyn Foster, and it's really lovely. And it's basically 20 mini blocks. So you can have them as coasters, you could put them together into a mini quilt, into a sampler quilt. But so many of them, it struck me, were made with half square triangles. And there are different ways to do half square triangles. Of course there are. So lots of these were just made from squares and half square triangles. And I thought, well, if you've got something like your mini stripology, you're laughing. But what about something else that might help us? Yeah, look at all of those, half square and quarter square triangles. And I thought, well, look, this is your Creative Grids non-slip multi-size 45/90 degree triangle. Love it. Let's have a close. Ooh, got to be careful, got my eye in there. There we go. So this is how you'll do your half square triangles with your right angled end. And then your quarter square is here. So you just flip it around. Normally, if you want to work out the size of half square triangle, you have to go into like 7/8 and it all gets a bit complicated. But with this, it's very, very clever. And you'll see this little line in white along the top there. And you cut, so if I wanted to, here we go, if I line it up, so if I'd start with a 3-inch strip, then I will line that up on the 3-inch, and it won't come all the way up there. Now that extra little bit will mean that I get rid of a dog ear. I'll show you, but it just means you don't have to faff about doing 7/8 and all that kind of stuff. So this is how it works. I cut a 3-inch strip with my stripology. I cut a 3-inch strip. So I then line up that 3-inch line. Now that means that the end of my ruler, you can see, is off the end of that, and that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. And I'm just going to cut along there, and you'll go, whoa, 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 Natasha, what are you doing? Look, 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 look. You've cut, and can you see? That is not that, like that bit. Yes, fine, that goes all the way down to the tip. Yeah, I've cut off that dog ear. That is absolutely fine. And all I will do, going along here, is now swing that rule around, realign that onto my 3-inch line there, and I can see very clearly that little white line on there. That's okay, and I will just work my way along as I go, lining everything up and trimming back. And so you can cut multiples, which is really great. Let's just put that to one side. Now, never throw away this. These are your instructions. So now all you'll need to do is sew down there. Make sure that you've only got, I've got loads there. I've cut through 4 layers at once. Sew down that side there. I'm going to sew down that side there. 1/4 inch. And I know that my needle is going to start here, because I know that is my 1/4 inch. This is where creative grids are absolute genius, okay, because they know their stuff. They are quilters creating rulers for quilters, and it makes a world of difference, as you will see. And of course you can chain piece all of those, but can you see that I've started there and I've come all the way down 1/4 inch. Let's now go to my little mat. What have I done with it? Oh, I keep putting it away, don't I? Cat hair on it from where HP decided to sit on it yesterday, but at least she is black, so that's fine. Yeah, mist it with a little bit of your misting spray, and there you have your perfect half square triangle done. Now what that means is that you can batch make, you can make them really speedily, all of that. The only thing, like I say, to watch in the books is that in here it says, so for example, Puss in the Corner, which is this one, it says that you will need 2 1 7/8 inch squares. Now they're to do your 1/2 inch triangles, and again, cutting a 7/8 of an inch is really tricky, but it's going to end up being a 1 1/2 inch square, because that's why you add on that little bit. So just knock it back to 1 1/2 inches and cut 1 1/2 inches with your ruler, and that will give you the perfect thing. Cuts means you don't have to trim anything back, it's all done then. So whenever you see a 7/8 of an inch, just take it back to the closest 1/2 inch going backwards, and then that gives you the figures that you need. And then you can make all of these gorgeous blocks in there, and there are 20. So the ruler makes life easy, it makes life accurate, it makes life fast, it makes it really good. And so then you've got all of these blocks that you can be doing, and then just using up your fabric, because there's no point in having it if you're not going to make stuff with it. There's only so much that we can stroke it. And when I put together, especially the cave kits, and we'll just take one last look at those now before we go. When I put together these kits, and one of them I know was sold out, I wanted to give you so they were put together carefully. I wanted to give you contrast. So you've got the zigzag, which is going to contrast with your gorgeous flowers, because actually when you open up this one, you've got all sorts of beautiful colours. Now you will get 1/2 metre of that, but you've got all sorts of gorgeous colours in there. And then you've got a slightly deeper tone here with your zigzag. And then you've got the black, which sets off all of it, an absolute treat. So you can really have some quite striking combinations going on with that. And that was why I put that one together for you. And then this one, just because I absolutely love it, you've got that bright pink, then you've got the spot, and then you've got the feathers. Let me show you the feathers, because I just adore this one. They're all beautiful, aren't they? But look at the colour work that's gone into that. Isn't that stunning? The feather's beautifully drawn, the colour's exquisite, it all comes together and works an absolute treat. And I put the polka dot with it, like I said yesterday, because look at that. Then you've got like the eyes there. I'm going to go up on a close-up so you can see this, because I just adore this. Look at that. And I just thought all of that worked so well with the spot. And then you've also then got your magenta there to pick up all of that lovely, rich, lush colour. So that's, again, you get 1/2 metre of each of those. So that's going to go a long way. And you'll be able to make, you could do the sampler quilts using all of these. You know, that will go a really long way. So grab yourself some fabric, grab yourself a book and a ruler, and you are absolutely good to go. So here you've got a light shade, a mid shade, and a darker shade. So you've got the range. You've got your big impact floral there, you've got a plain, and then you've got a medium-sized print there. So you've got that variety. So that's how I planned the kits, and that's why I put them together as I did, and so that you can then get playing, get making. If you've got your ruler, then you can actually make your half square triangles to make the little pouch, or make the blocks that you get in the book. These are available individually, by the way, as well. Don't feel like you have to buy them together. I put a discount on if you did want them together, if you want that inspiration, if you love a book. They are available individually. I believe that is just $4.99 by itself. So maybe you've got the ruler, or maybe you're just like, yeah, no, I'm all right with a half square triangle. I don't need a gadget to do that. I need a gadget. That's absolutely fine. So today I just wanted to give you some inspiration so that you can go and play with your stash. And you can, because you've bought it, because you've got the colours, you've got everything in there that you absolutely love. So go and enjoy it. Do some English paper piecing, use up your scraps, use what you have. But again, it's having the right tools for the job. I look like one of those evil ones in the movies that sits with a cat on its lap. This is Half Pint. Everybody knows Half Pint. With her funny old skin. So have a little look through your own scraps, do some English paper piecing, but make life easy on yourself. Get yourself the English paper piecing templates, because as much as we mean to, we never actually cut our own templates. So buy them. They're done. If you want to go for the Liberty pre-cuts with your hexes, then do that. They are all on the website. Like I said, I don't have them all here because it would just take me ages to go through them all, but I will get them up here and I will get them there to show you. So your Liberty pre-cut hexes, and then get the corresponding size hexi packs to go with those if you want to do that, or just get the hexi packs that you fancy. I've also got pentagon sets on there, diamonds, half diamonds, otherwise known as triangles. They're all on the website, so you can pick the ones that you fancy. If you want to go for the starter kit, then you get, of course, the needle grips with a whole heap of glue and your glue pen, and you'll just get going. It does become a little bit addictive. So whilst it might look excessive having that much glue in there, it was put in there because I wish that was what I had when I started out. And that's why I did it. So there we go. Let's have a little look at messages. Martina says Half Pint, named after a half pint of Guinness, maybe. No, she wasn't. So I picked her up from the cat's home. My ex-boyfriend wanted a black and white cat, and I picked her up from the cat's rescue place. We'd been fostering some kittens, and they'd all grown, and he wanted a black and white kitten, and I went and picked her up, and they said, take her home. She's really small. She won't last the night, but just give her some cuddles. Yeah, well, she's what? How old are you now, HP? 13 now, aren't you? Yeah, bit mothy around the edges, but the vets say that's fine. And 13 years on, she has tried to kill herself on the road and getting herself tangled up in next door's cricket net and other fun things, but she's made it to 13, haven't you? You've done all right. So that's why she's Half Pint, because she was so small. I I bought the triangle ruler as I have the book. You've made it more understandable, thank you. Yeah, Ali, all you need to know in the book is if it has a weird 7/8 measurement, is just take it back. When you cut out your squares, take it back to a good old 1/2 inch. So if it's 3 7/8 of an inch, take it back to 3.5 inches and you'll be fine. That's it. And Hazel's had to go. That's all right. She'll catch up later. And Susan was playing with her Creative Grids rulers at the weekend. Good for you. And Elizabeth says another lovely kit. Well done. Thank you. And she says that she made a beautiful wooden heart with her name on. Oh no, she had a beautiful handmade heart with her name on it off the NHS Scrubbers coordinator. Yeah, Elizabeth, you've been working really hard. You deserve that. You absolutely deserve that. Don't bite. That's not kind. We're doing a show, HP, so you've got witnesses now. Everybody saw. Yeah, there we go. So thank you ever so much. So funny looking at the subtitles, broken English. Yeah, that's where I realised, because I've got a funny accent. It's not kind of one place or another. It's a little bit Midland, it's a little bit Sussex, there's a little bit here, there and everywhere. So it doesn't always pick up the subtitles, but you can get rid of it easily enough. Thank you so much for watching. Next week, we're going to tackle storage. That's the plan. We're going to tackle storage with beautiful fabrics, something for the grown-ups, something for the kids. I'm going to have some quilt kits for the kids as well. And yeah, did you get your scissors for the kids, by the way? Did you pick up those? I only had a handful of those. And also, don't forget, if you weren't watching earlier, the beautiful Liberty fabrics for the cushion. I have to say, Freddie absolutely loves his book cushion, and he stuffs his little lavender ravioli under his pillow so that he can smell them, and he just sits there fiddling with them while I read him his book at night time, because that's kind of sacred, is our bath, book and bed. That's what happens every night. And yeah, he loves them, and he sticks them under his pillow so that he can smell them, and that works a treat for him. But he really loves his book cushion, and he always has his book in there, so that's worked really well for us, and I hope it will do for anybody that's making that. So you'll get your fabric, your Liberty fabric, and your binding. Can I just show you this gorgeous fabric one more time before we go? It's got rockets and it's Liberty. I mean, yeah, I love that they're like really old-fashioned rockets too. And then, of course, you've got your cloud fabric and your backing fabric, or do it the other way around. It's entirely up to you. But anyway, that is all there for you. Have a look on the website. Do catch up. Everything that we've had on the show... made such a mess. Everything we've had on the show is underneath where you can watch live on the website. It's www.natashamakes.com. So if you're looking for any, like the glue pens by themselves or anything like that, or the thimble things, then they're all on the website underneath there. Or if you're looking for the English paper piecing stuff from House of Alistair that I haven't shown you, it's all on there. So go and have a rummage, go and have fun, and break into that stash. It's time. It's time. Have a lovely rest of the week. I will be on Hochanda on Thursday and possibly Sunday as well. So yeah, have a lovely rest of the week. Take care. Stay home. Stay safe. Be a superhero at home. And don't forget to add in your free NHS elastic with your order, and I'll send that out to you. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.